Okay, welcome back. In keeping with our farmers market preparations, today we're going to do apple bars. Now, I've made these at school a number of times, but I don't think I ever did it with you guys. So I kind of prepared this to serve in the evenings, and they've been pretty popular. So I thought, let's try this. It's a pretty easy dish, and it's super tasty. So let's begin with our recipe. We're going to start with 1 cup of butter, soft, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of sugar, 2 eggs, 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, and then 2 cups of peeled and chopped apples. I like this recipe because everything's it's 2 cups, 1 teaspoon. It's pretty easy to remember. So I've got my cup of butter, and I've already softened it. You need to make sure it's nice and soft because I'm just going to hand mix this. If some of you want to use your KitchenAid, go for it. So to the butter, we're going to add the 2 cups of sugar. It seems like a lot of sugar, and it is kind of a lot of sugar. But to the sugar and the butter, let's add our salt. Those are our flavorings. So we need to get this mixed up nice and smooth. And the apples, as far as the apples go, I used local apples. I have some Rome apples. Those are more baking style. I have a few wine saps. I did a variety when I went and picked at my neighbor's orchard the other day. So, all right, now we've got the sugar and the butter all mixed up here. Let's throw in our 2 eggs and just, crack them into a bowl separately in case they're bad. You don't want to mess up everything. Crack them and just kind of take a fork and whisk them a little bit. Get them a little bit mixed up so that they kind of blend easier. And this is a pretty quick mix. And if you use your KitchenAid, it'll probably be a little bit smoother, but look at that. It doesn't take long, does it? So to this, your eggs, your sugar, your butter, I'm going to add the cinnamon because I want that to mix in really well. Just kind of throw your cinnamon in. And that was 2 teaspoons, right? Nope, sorry, that was 1 teaspoon. 2 teaspoons might be a little bit intense. Okay, and on top of that, I'm going to put my flour. It looks like a lot of flour. I'm going to just mix in about half of it first. Put in my 1 teaspoon of baking powder and put in my 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Let's get this mixed up and I'll add the rest of the flour in a minute. And it does look like a lot of flour, but that's because your apples are going to shed water as they're baking. So the dough could end up getting kind of wet. All right, look at this. Looking good. It's going to be a stiff batter. All right, I'm going to put the rest of the flour in. Okay, so the dough's looking pretty good. It's a very stiff batter, but as I said, once you add the apples, and I've got 2 cups of peeled, chopped apples, a little bit of apple peel in there, and that just makes it look a little more authentic. You're going to kind of mix this up, and like I said, as it bakes, it'll bring out some of the water of the apples, so it'll definitely be smooth enough. It'll definitely be a lot more of a batter when it's cooking, not so thick. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to set that aside for a minute, and you're going to put it in a prepared pan, which means you've greased the pan. And I want to show you a real quick trick. If I haven't showed this to you already, I've already greased it, but I'm going to show you how I did it. So when I took the butter out of the wrap, I just keep the wrap, and it has butter on it. Instead of throwing this out, get some extra use out of it. So there you go. We've got it all buttered and ready to go. Now get your scraper, and you're going to scrape the dough right into your pan. This is a lot. And this pan is actually an odd size because it's a European pan. It's not a 9 by 13. It's actually an 11 by 8. So you want a pan, a 9 by 13 would probably be okay, but it actually calls for a 9 by 9. So 8 by 8 is going to be a little bit too small. So try to find a pan about this size because you don't really want a cake. What you want is a brownie. You want to have apple brownies. I think this looks pretty good. Let's get that all patted in there correctly. Okay. I'm going to take my hand and just kind of press it. Oh yeah, I can feel that. It feels really good. Yeah, I think this is going to be just right. Okay, there is our batter with our apples, sugar, and all the other good things, and the cinnamon. I'm going to put this in the oven for, it says about 45 minutes at 325. Make sure you do 325. 350 will be too high. So 325 for about 45 minutes, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, I took this out of the oven, and I cooked it the whole 45 minutes. It needed the whole 45 minutes because it's a low oven, 325. And it all came back to me, what it tastes like. I'm really excited about it. So I've cut a piece. This you have to let cool. This is fruit, and fruit will burn, so I let it cool. Let's look at this. Has a really nice crust. The back of the crust, or the underside, is also nice and firm, flaky. And then the inside, you've got your fruit. You can see the fruit, but you can also see kind of the gooey inside. It's delicious. So I'm going to take a little bite, try to take a little bite so I can talk. And we'll see what this is like. That looks really good. Yeah, I love this. Wow. I don't think it can beat apple and cinnamon. The house smells great. This turned out absolutely beautifully. I think your family is going to love it. So go ahead and make this, and let's talk about it when we see you on Thursday. Good luck, everybody. I'm sure it'll turn out great.